Hello, welcome to the Summerween reading vlog. If you're new here, I'm Bree and I am going to be participating in this Summerween reading vlog. This is my first year ever participating, so I'm really excited. I am not the best at keeping up with readathons. I feel like I always fall off at the end because I'm such a mood reader, but I'm gonna do my best to stick to this one. So I have my little TBR here that I want to share with you. There is a fly. So this is hosted by Gabby Reads and Olivia Reads a Latte, and I watch both of their channels and really like their content and everything. So I'm really excited to be participating. They have these prompts. So first one is read a book in the dark or at night. Read a book with Halloween colors on the cover, read a slasher, read a book with haunt in the title, and bake or make a treat with your spooky read. So for reading at night, I'm also going to probably do this with the slasher, and for that I am going to read My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. This I've been meaning to read for a long time. It was on my 22 books to read in 2022, so I really need to get to this, and I really just want to get to this. And I know Don't Fear the Reaper, which is the second one, is coming out soon. Basically what I know is that this is following a girl who starts to believe people in her town are sorry if this moves, my cat is rubbing on the tripod. This girl believes that her town people are being killed like how slasher films were killing them off, and so she is determined to figure out what's actually going on. Yeah, so it's just people dying like the slasher films, and she's obsessed with slasher type movies, so she sees the pattern and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And I read The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones in October or November of last year, and I really liked it. So I'm excited to get to this. I feel like his writing does a really good job at creating a spooky atmosphere for these horror books in a way that you're just what is going on? So I'm really excited for this. I've heard good things about this one. The next book I'm going to pick up is for the book with haunt in the title, and this is The Haunting of Maddie Clare by Simone St. James. So I have recently started reading Simone St. James. I read The Book of Cold Cases and The Sundown Motel, which are her most popular books, and I really love them. I gave them both 5 stars. This is one of her backlist books. I think this was, when was this published? This was published in 2012, so this is a bit older, but this is following a woman, and I really don't know much about it, so I'm just going to read the back. It says, Sarah Piper's lonely, threadbare existence changes when her temporary agency sends her to assist a ghost hunter. Alistair Gillis, rich, handsome, scarred by World War I and obsessed by ghosts, has been summoned to investigate the spirit of 19-year-old maid Maddie Clare, who is said to haunt the barn where she committed suicide. So this is 1920s England, and Calvin, no thank you. And I really like historical mysteries, so I feel like this one's going to be perfect for that, spooky, hey! That spooky kind of atmosphere. And so I can't wait to get to it. I really like Simone St. James, so I feel like I'm going to like her backlist. And she does everything with a little bit of paranormal. So I think that I will enjoy it from that perspective. Okay, you ready to go down? Here you go. She does everything with a touch of paranormal. And I think that she does it so well where it's it always makes sense why it's there, and I've learned that I really like that in thrillers or mysteries, just a little bit of paranormal. So I'm really excited to get to this one, and I have seen these at Half Price Books and never pick them up because I didn't know if I was like Simone St. James, but now I feel like I'm going to have to if I like this library copy. So this is probably the second one I'll get to because I think it fits the most with the prompt, and it could work for the Halloween one, but I think for the Halloween option I want to read Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, because this is also a book that's been on my TBR for a while and I really want to get to it, and it has dark academia vibes, so I think it'll be perfect for a Summerween type vlog, and I've heard really good reviews about this. This is the copy, the self-published copy, so I don't really know what's changed in the traditionally published copy, but I figure I'm going to read it and then see the differences between the two. But the newest one is coming out really soon, so I really want to get to this. I started it yesterday just to see if I would like it, and I got let's see, 25 pages in, and I already think I'm going to enjoy it a lot. So I'm going to pick this up third, but I am excited to get to this, and I think it'll fit with the Halloween prompt because it's nice and black and white, which feels very Halloween to me. And this is about a group of people who have to compete, I think, in some kind of like trials to work at this Library of Alexandria. And they all have magic, and they're supposed to be like the top in the world for their magic. And we're following different perspectives, the 6 different perspectives, I think. And yeah, I think it's like kind of competition, dark academia. So I'm here for it. I'm excited to get to it. So this is my TBR for this readathon, and I will fit in more if I can, but I just hope to get to these 3, with the priority being in this direction, because even if I just read these 2, any of these could fit for the Halloween prompt. So I'm going to focus on these 2. And I think for the treat I'm going to bake a pie, because I have canned peaches that I canned last year that I need to use up. And then also my husband is obsessed with these peanut butter balls I bought, so when I told him I had to bake a treat for this readathon, he begged that I bake him those. So I will be making those as well, because he deserves it. And they are really good. It's basically like a peanut butter cup, but they're in a ball, and then I freeze them. And so it's like kind of like tastes like a Reese's peanut butter cup for him. And I can eat it too, which is great because they don't have any dairy. So I will probably be eating some as well. Don't tell him that. Anyway, so these are the books I'm going to read. I'll check back in a little bit when I have read My Heart is a Chainsaw a little bit more. I've got some editing to do today, and I think I'm going to take you along my days as well. And yeah, so let's get started on this reading vlog. I'm really excited. Hello. I am balancing this on a very precarious situation, so sorry that it's a little crooked, and also if it falls, I'm sorry. I'm at my parents' house, and we don't have internet at our apartment because like a fiber optic line got cut or whatever, so I don't know when we're gonna have internet. But we're hanging out here, and I wanted to update because it is now day 2 of the Summerween readathon, and I only made it to page 68 yesterday. I like this book a lot, but I felt like it took me a little bit to get into because some of the writing was confusing, and now I feel like it is making more sense. But we're following this girl, Jade, and she kind of just like really wants a slasher to like happen in her town. She's obsessed with them, and she just like feels like nothing good happens in life, and so she wants to like have a slasher to like not really like to make life better or anything, but like just to have some like adventure in this like mundane town she's living in. And I will say trigger warning for attempted suicide and also self-harm, because that is a big like first chunk of the book. Now I don't know how much it'll carry through the rest, but it is talked about in the first, and it's like very graphic, and as someone who like has gone through that, I feel like it was a little graphic for me, and I kind of like just had to like push through it. So I'm hoping that that doesn't continue to be like super big into it, but I'm not sure. I feel like Jade as a main character is really interesting. She kind of is like hard to understand because she's a little chaotic. So like when she's like, I feel like in a situation she doesn't quite know how to handle, she'll just like start talking about slashers or thinking about slashers and things like that. And so sometimes it's like hard to depict like reality from fantasy with her. And I think that's actually going to lend itself really well to like the horror of this book. But I'm hoping to get a good chunk of the way through, if not finish it today. But I just feel like this one is a little harder for me to get into, so I'm just not reading it quite as fast. I'm interested to read a slasher because I've never read a slasher. I've watched some, but I'm not a big horror movie person. And I think I'm finding with horror that I need a certain line. Like I just can't do super like body horror or anything like that, but I think I do a little bit better with a monster horror. So I'm gonna see how I do with this, which is more of a slasher, and I might actually enjoy this one. And she's also like giving kind of like a research paper at the end of each chapter. So she'll have, wow, this one's a long one. She'll have like, it says like Slasher 101, and it'll start going into like basically straight into her teacher, and she's like talking about like the history of slashers and things like that, which I find interesting, and I'm excited to see how it ties in. Now, I don't know if this book would pack more of a punch if I actually have seen a lot of the movies that she's referencing, because I haven't, but I so far don't think it's like too confusing. I feel like I can follow along with what she's trying to say when she's talking about these slashers, because she does like explain it a bit. So I don't feel like with that I'm missing out, and I think if you have watched them, it could have like be a little fun nod to those. So those are my thoughts, and I will check back in a little bit later when I've read more. So it is now Sunday, and I am at 200 pages about, so I'm at halfway through of the book, and I think I'm enjoying it. I expected it to be scarier than it is. It has this whole element of like our main character Jade. It's kind of like, is she an unreliable narrator? You know, is this stuff really happening, or is it all in her head, kind of a thing? And I really am enjoying that. I think it's interesting to look at. Stephen Graham Jones really like goes deep into like some trigger stuff, so I feel like you should look that up if you were to read this book. The beginning like 50 pages I was kind of like very confused about a lot of things, but then as it's gone on it's made more sense, and the way Jade like thinks and talks, I'm able to follow that logic a bit more, where at the beginning it was very hard to follow, so it felt very like chaotic and I wasn't understanding, but now I am. I'm interested to see how it goes, because it either could go like full slasher or it could go like more of like a psychological twist, and I'm just not sure right now. But I think I'm going to try to finish this today. Noah is at our friend's house watching his cat and will be back soon, and when he gets back I told him I would do the prompt of baking a sweet treat, basically, because he's been waiting for peanut butter balls for a while, so I think I'm going to do that when I get back, just to give a break from some reading. But then I'm going to try to finish this today. It's about 200 pages, and I've read probably today a good 50 to 100 pages. I would say that this book isn't, I don't feel myself like wanting to fly through it, and the way it's written, I don't feel like I can just fly through it because of how choppy it is. I do feel like I need to slow down and really like pay attention to what's being said. I don't know, right now I feel like it's probably at like a 3.5 star for me, but it really depends on like where it goes, because right now we're just like getting a lot of like Jade's theories about what's happening in this town and not a ton of like evidence of things. So I think I'm at like a 3.5. So I'm just feeling like I don't know how I feel. That's my update. I will check back in a little bit when I have finished and let you know my final thoughts. Hello, it is the next day, so this is now day 4 of Summerween, and I wanted to wrap up my thoughts on My Heart is a Chainsaw. I think I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. I finished it last night, and I think that there's a lot that I enjoyed, and there's a decent amount that I also didn't. So I feel like the beginning, for me, the beginning like 50 pages was confusing, and then I felt like the middle just kind of dragged, but the last 100 pages, I was like flipping through to see what would happen. So like I loved the ending, and I feel like Jade as a character was a really interesting perspective to read from and to learn about as we're reading. I just think that the middle dragged, and this could have been like 250 pages and done the same thing. And so I was finding myself really bored in the middle. It definitely is like a slower burn horror. Like it's not in your face horror until like the end. I was just expecting, because this is supposed to be like a slasher type horror, that it would have more tension throughout the whole book, and I didn't find the tension really until the last section. I'll also say this has like a lot of trigger warnings, so I would look up those if you care about that stuff, because I do feel like this is very trigger heavy in a lot of different topics. So there's that, but I enjoyed the like overarching story there was. I just think it was too long and too slow in the middle for my taste. So that's why I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think Stephen Graham Jones does a really good job of creating a compelling story, but in a way that like you're still kind of confused through the whole time. Like you just don't really understand fully what's going on the whole time. And I read The Only Good Indians and I liked that more than this one, I think, a little bit, just because it was faster paced and you were getting different perspectives. That being said, I think I may pick up Don't Fear the Reaper. I'll have to see how I feel. I don't think I'll pick it up right away when it comes out, but I might still read it. I don't know where this would go after this, but I'm interested to see. But I'm glad I read it. It's been on my TBR for a while, but overall I just think something in the story was lacking, and I think that it was the length. Like he could have cut it down a lot. So that's my thoughts. I am going to wrap up this vlog here, and then you will see me next for the last 4 days of Summerween. So these are just days 1 through 3, and I've been just having a good time. I'm hoping to fly through some more books soon for the rest of the reading vlog. I feel like because this one was just hard to get through because it was boring in the middle, it took me longer to read. So I'm hoping I can finish a couple books in the last 4 days. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope if you're participating in Summerween, you're having a great Summerween. If you're not, I also hope you're enjoying your reading. And yeah, I will see you next time.